took us what?
Half an hour.
Half an hour. It took us
Hour.
half an hour to get everything working. From what's the temperature you have?
I can check for sure here.
Yeah, I'll
16
check for sure.
degrees Fahrenheit, which is
How
below
much?
freezing. And she's gone again.
She's gone. Sarah, where have you gone? Oh, there she is.
I
Don't
was
touch
checking my
anything.
weather as well. It's 7 degrees here, and I'm not moving again.
It's 7 Fahrenheit.
7 Fahrenheit here.
We're about, rough calculation, about 60 Fahrenheit, 16 Celsius, give or take.
It must be nice. Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
We are. So thank you for doing this. Thank you for accepting to talk with me, and share your experience. We've met. When have we met? Like 2 years ago, maybe? No?
6 months ago, maybe.
What?
It hasn't been too long.
It's been 6 months ago. We've
But it
met
is.
about 6 months ago in Paris, and I threw the idea, hey, what if when I start my podcast, would you like to be guests on my podcast? And you said yes, and we followed up, and here you are.
we are. Plus half an hour.
Plus half an hour, plus on the other side of the Atlantic, right? So tell everyone who will be listening a little bit about yourself before
Sarah,
we
would
start.
you like to go first?
Sure. So my name is Sarah Simon. I am a fourth year student at Susquehanna University. I am studying business management and psychology. And I interned with Parency over the summer with Reese.
And that leads to me. So hi, I'm Theresa Horstman, but I go by Reese. And I am a second year student at Miami University in Ohio, studying psychology and neuroscience. And so when we were at Parency, we did mostly marketing and communications. We made a bunch of tutorials on how to use the website best for their different customers, and also a bunch of social media posts to try and increase the amount of people who were aware of the business.
Cool. And how long have you spent in Paris?
2 months?
Yeah, it was
Roughly?
8 weeks. So that would be 2 months.
Did you do more?
Absolutely. We got to go to Versailles with the program that we went to France with, so that was really cool. Sarah and I went on a trip to Mont Saint Michel, sort of. We had a bit of struggle with the directions, but it was extremely fun regardless. And then after the internship, I actually then went and spent a week in London to round it off. And we went to Rome. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot.
We did go to Rome. We did go to Rome.
It was great.
So tell me about your experience.
Sarah, any input here?
Let's see. So it was a really great experience for me, at least. I really enjoyed my time in Paris. And let's see. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I loved it so much.
We went with a specific program, CIEE, but that was really nice because they helped find the housing, and then we thankfully did not have any sort of emergency problems, but we had people in France ready to support us, which was much a relief, because that gave us kind of the freedom to do things that we might have been too nervous to do otherwise, like travel to other places outside of just directly in Paris. So that was definitely, for me, a really great part of the experience, because especially that was my first time going abroad alone. I don't know about you, Sarah.
Yeah, that was my first time abroad too. And I think one of the other things that while you were talking, I thought of was through CIEE, it's not like you're completely by yourself. There's I guess you could call it like a cohort, I guess. Like you have a group of people, while they may not be in the same placement as you and I were, we made friends through the program where they had different like internship placements, but they were still going through basically the same experience as we were. So then we were able to make friends and we weren't completely by ourselves.
Cool. So I heard, Sarah, you said I loved it as the experience. And Reese mentioned we weren't as nervous or we were nervous. So on a scale of 1 to 10, while you were getting on the plane from the US going to Paris, how nervous were you?
It depends on your definition of nervous, because I would say a 1. I was not concerned. I had been abroad with my family a couple months prior, but I was extremely excited. So a lot of the same like physical feelings you feel when you're nervous, where you're a tiny bit shaky or your stomach turns just a little bit, that's what I felt. But in my mind, it was all excitement. This was a chance to do something I had wanted to do for a really long time. And so it was amazing.
I agree with Reese. It was very exciting. And I think maybe I was just a little bit nervous, but like it was mostly like logistic wise. And I tend to be kind of like an anxious person, more like the type A. Like I need to know where I'm going, what I'm doing at this time, and like know what my expectations are and everything like that. And just like the little details, like, oh, am I at the right gate? Or oh, am I like just like those little things. And then I was like, I'm also by myself. Like I didn't have anybody from Susquehanna University going with me to like, be like, oh yeah, we're in the right gate, or yeah, we're just like to double check everything. So, but like Reese said, I was mostly excited.
And then, if you don't mind, I was going to tie that into our first day of work, where I started feeling some of the nerves, because this was the first time I had worked any sort of office job. I've mostly done like fast food help just for the money. So this was the first time I had, in my mind, a more outlined job where there was more expectations of professionalism. Not that there isn't in every job, obviously, but I was nervous going into the first day of work. But then Sarah was there, and that also really helped, because I knew, okay, if anything goes wrong, there's someone who knows the expectations that I would have grown up with, who can help formulate a response to whatever's going wrong, which was...
So you had a bigger safety net with the CIEE, right? And then you had each other.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Did you go in knowing that you had each other? I mean, you had another person from the same program in the same company?
Not until we were in France.
Yeah.
But before the first day of work.
Good,
Yes.
no?
We found out.
Yeah, it was the ideal.
I was going to say, we found out like during our orientation of CIEE, we met each other, and then like we planned to walk to work together in the morning. My commute was much longer than Reese's. I was across Paris, and I had to take like 2 metros and a train to get to work every morning, and she just had a 10-minute walk.
I had a really nice breezy walk. It was great.
Oh, wonderful. For you.
Yeah.
That's for you, Reese. It was wonderful. I just had to get up earlier, which is fine.
And you had your foot problem, right? You had a broken...
I did. It wasn't broken. I don't know what happened with my foot. They still don't know, but it just was hurting for a really long time. I had surgery May, and like I think it was like a couple weeks ago was when I had it, and then I was in Paris walking around, and so the surgery was just to cut the nerve through the in the foot, and it helped,
which is great. But she was trekking across Paris with a fresh surgical wound, so all the more dedication to the job.
So what was the most exciting thing that, let's say, start with you, Reese, the most exciting moment that you experienced during those 8-9 weeks?
I'm going to pick 2. One that's a little bit more about the job itself, the internship, and one that's the overall trip. So for the overall trip, I got to see the Palais Garnier, which is the opera house that Phantom of the Opera was based on, and it was amazing. I went and saw a ballet. It was so cool. I learned so much, and I got in for one of the discount ticket prices, so amazing as well. And then for my internship, we got to go to Viva Tech, which is a big conference style moment, and we got to connect with so many different people from so many places. I don't know, Tony, I believe we met you a few weeks prior to Viva Tech, but we met a lot of other people at Viva Tech, and even the people we didn't stay in contact with, it was just so great getting those different perspectives, especially as someone who has spent most of their life in a pretty small town in Ohio in the Midwest. So it was amazing getting to see all of the different cultures and all of the different people and how all of them were working to a collective goal of just bettering themselves and the world. So that was really cool.
Sarah?
I'm going to piggyback off Reese and say Viva Tech was also very cool to go to. That I think that was my first conference, like business conference that I ever went to. So it was very cool to see that. And I'm just remembering like some of the pictures that we took too. Like the Viva Tech balloons were or like the Viva balloons were very impressive. And it was very like a statement thing to like walk in there, and it was like, oh my God, there's these big balloons that are like colored, and it's just like something that I remember. And then I think like for the overall trip, I really enjoyed going to Tivoli with Rome with Reese. And I just remember we had so much fun, like going around taking silly pictures, and like we were just being so silly, just taking pictures, and it was really fun.
I would agree.
So listen, I don't have the appreciation of coming from a very, very small town to Paris in one shot. I cannot. Maybe I can understand it, but try to explain to me that the difference and how you felt.
Sarah, would you like to go? Or?
You want to give it a shot? See if you can explain to me and to others. What does it really mean?
I mean, I can take a shot, and then I guess you can go after, and then I can piggyback again. But I just worry that I'm not going to be able to put it into words very well. But
yeah, it's a feeling.
Yeah. So like for me, I think like a lot of it was like the population, and like there was like a lot of people around. And I'm from Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. There's not really like public transportation like the metro in Stroudsburg or Selinsgrove, which is where I go to school. And like just like the metro was a very big thing for me that like I had to get comfortable with, learn how to like navigate, and I guess just like the people around too. Like there's so many people walking around. I mean, I guess you can sort of get like a little bit of it from the small towns that I've been in, like Stroudsburg and Selinsgrove, but like it's just very quiet. I think you'll agree, Reese. It's very like quiet, and like I also live sort of close to New York City, and just like hearing the traffic as well. I feel like there's a marked traffic noise too. Like the cars, the people. Yeah. Reese,
yeah, I can build off of that. So you mentioned the public transportation. This experience taught me that I would love to live somewhere with public transportation. I much preferred it. But the amount of people in a car on the metro was the amount of people in my graduating class as a senior in high school. So you step off the plane and you've already encountered more people than your entire town. We have less than 1,000. We're technically a village from where I grew up. So I had a little bit of that when I came to college, but I still picked a relatively rural, small college. To step into France, it was the moment you step into a concert and there's just thousands of people, except this was the entire city and this was going to last 2 months. So personally, I stepped on the metro and I was trying to figure out where to go, and I was instantly overwhelmed. I was like, there are people everywhere. There are noises everywhere. No one will let me stop and look at my phone to figure out where I'm going. But I just stepped to the side. I bought myself a croissant and I took a moment to breathe, and then I was okay. But yeah, absolutely. And it was the same when I came back from such a big place with so many different vibrant communities and so many people and public transportation. And then I came back to my small town, and it was night and day difference. And they both have their things that they do well and the things that maybe I don't prefer. And it's a lot of personal preference, but it's definitely a difference.
Yes.
So would you live in a city or would you live in a small town from here on? What would be your
I
choice?
really liked where I was in Paris, because I was in one of the I'm forgetting the name, but I was in one of the suburbs or the outskirts of the city, which I much preferred, because if you wanted to go to where all the people were, to where all the excitement was, you could. But if you're trying to go to bed on an average Tuesday, it's very calm. You know what to expect. So I liked the balance there. I wouldn't want to live right in the heart, and I wouldn't want to live in the middle of nowhere.
Interesting. Sarah?
Interesting points. I still don't know. Like, I like the quietness of Stroudsburg and Selinsgrove. I like the excitement that uh, Paris provided. I think that, like, I kind of like Stroudsburg area where it's like small, but like it would just be like a drive to go somewhere fun. Like, I think it's like an hour and a half to uh New York City. So like you could go and have a weekend of fun there. Like you could go see a Broadway show if you wanted to, or you could like do something fun like that. But then it's also going to be um like you can go to bed. You can have like peace and quiet and not feel like the world's watching you or something like that.
Speaking of the world watching you, did you enjoy the anonymity being 1 in 1 million in a city? No one knows you versus everyone knows you in your hometown?
Yes and no. That's going to be my answer to a lot of things. Yes
Oh,
and
come
no.
on. Tell
I
me.
know it's a little bit, but I really liked it from a standpoint of I felt more confident in being who I was, and I didn't have to worry about, if I said something to one of my friends and someone overheard from across the room, which is a thing that's happened. But at the same time, there's so much community in small towns. Everyone is rooting for you. I guarantee, Tony, if you post this video, I will have at least 20 people that I can
Hmm.
forward it to, and instantly they'll say, "That's amazing, Reese. We're so happy for you."
Yes.
So
Yes.
it was really nice being in a city where I could be anonymous, but knowing I had that community. I think it would be different growing up somewhere with so many people, because I do think, especially in the age of technology, while it's great because we can have conversations like this, it does kind of take away from the sense of belonging and of support that you have somewhere smaller or somewhere without technology. Sarah, would you?
Sarah, you
I
agree?
agree with so many of your points. Like I also agree. Like I have so many people here that like if the video was posted, they'd like I mentioned that I was going to be learning stuff how to use the podcast room to one of my friends, and she's like, "Please send it to me. I want to listen to this." And like there's just like so much support here, and like I guess like it's kind of nice being like sort of anonymous, but like um one of the reasons I actually picked a small school was that way I can build connections with my professors. Like if I needed help with something like, oh, something doesn't make sense, I can go up and talk to that professor, and they would know my name, they would know who I am, and they would be able to help me, and I would be able to form connections with these people, so that way I can like network a little bit, or just having just somebody to root for me, or like I've come and just talked to professors at some points, just like, hi, how's your day? And like, I like that, and that's definitely one of the reasons why I picked a small school, was that way I wasn't anonymous and I wasn't just a number in a seat. So, and I agree with Reese's point so much, where it's like yes and no, where it's like some aspects you do want to be anonymous, but some aspects you really want connection.
Cool. Reese, when you stepped to the side and got a croissant, What was going on in your mind? How were you feeling? Why did you do that?
Had I was on the way to my apartment, and there were people everywhere, and like I said, I'm not familiar with that, and I was panicked. I could not figure out where I was supposed to go, what I was supposed to be doing. There were all of these rules and regulations. And Tony, you're only anonymous if you're following the rules and regulations. If you're spinning in circles in the middle, you're not all that anonymous anymore. So I was nervous, I was stressed, I was confused. And I personally know that having food helps me in those situations, but also it was a chance to step to the side and just breathe, because sometimes that's all you need. You just need a moment to collect yourself, to remind yourself it might be stressful right now, but there's a reason that I'm doing what I'm doing. It will work out. It is okay. I can figure out what direction to go on the metro. And that was just a sense of calm that I needed in a really hectic situation. And I think that's something that you absolutely need to be able to do, especially as you enter into the professional world, as you leave like the college aspect where you kind of get the opportunity to be frantic and you step into a life where you need to take the breath.
Sarah, did you panic during that trip at any one point, or felt unease, you know?
Yeah, definitely like the first day, like Reese was saying as she got off the plane, my thing was I must have been like a little bit jet lagged, and French is not my first language, so and I would say I'm very mediocre at best with the French, and I remember I needed to get a cab because I missed the meet and greet to get like a cab to my apartment, and my French was not Frenching, and the driver was getting so frustrated with me because the language barrier was just so high, and I could not articulate where I wanted to go. I showed him where I wanted to go, but I guess that didn't work, and I had to get out and be like, I'm sorry, I can't articulate where I need to go. I just have to walk with my two suitcases. And I just walked the rest of the way. I think it was like a block and a half or something like that with my two heavy
Oh,
suitcases. And it was just like, oh my God. Like, so then I guess I made like one, I wouldn't say enemy because like, I don't think he remembers me at all. So I wouldn't call him an enemy, but like, it definitely was not a friend.
so the encounter wasn't the most pleasant.
No, and it was just like it was like, what do you want? And I was like, I don't know how to say what I want. And he'd pull up, and it would be like, no, this is not where I'm supposed to be. This is not anywhere near where I'm supposed to be because I'm like following the directions on my phone. And I was just like, why does my phone say that we're not here, but you say I am here? Just like the language barrier was very tough on the first day. And then like I'd say another challenge was the Mont Saint Michel trip, where we also had that like language barrier where we thought the conductor told us to get off the train. So we got off the train, but that was the last train to Mont Saint Michel. So then we got off in this we got off at a stop Veer in Normandy, and it was very small to us. Like the train station is very small, and I'm just so thankful I had Reese there. I think I would have spiraled, like completely spiraled out of control if Reese wasn't there, because like at least I had Reese as like my safety net, where like if my French wasn't as good, maybe she could articulate it in a different way. We like just like our French together, like our and then just having like two brains is better than one brain. And I feel like she really helped keep me grounded to be like, okay, what's the next step? What are we gonna do now? Because we can't just stay here. We have to keep going. So then we like it was just like a comedy of errors, I'd call it, where we got off at Veer, and then we had to then we took, I think it was,
A different train to
yep,
Granville, and then
yep,
a bus to Avranches, and then from Avranches to the city next to Mont Saint Michel, Port something.
Porterson?
Then Ponterson. And then we got off at Ponterson. And the reason that we were moving forwards was A, that we hoped that we would get to see Mont Saint Michel, which we did through a bus window. Thankfully, Sarah had gone prior, so it was just a me being me moment. But then we also wanted to get there so that we could take the train back. So we get on the train back, and it drives every place that we had just stopped. And that was
the way back, though.
on top of a very chaotic day. Because turns out we could have stayed in Veer. It wouldn't have been an issue. But yes, it was very entertaining. And like Sarah said, it was very nice to have someone with me because collectively, one of us always was calm enough to figure out what was going to happen next, which was nice.
Or calm the other person down. Like if I was spiraling, then you could calm me down. And if you were spiraling, I could calm you down.
Absolutely.
I also observed that you kept on going. When you got stuck, you kept on going. So your next step was to move.
Yes. Very important. That is how I personally approach life, is just keep going. As Dory says, just keep swimming. But it works well because even if it doesn't get you where you need to be, it will connect you with the people who can. I remember we talked to, I don't think it was a train conductor, but someone who was working at the station. And I said, or I think I said, because French, I said, oh, I need to get to Mont Saint Michel. And she was like, c'est pas possible. And I was like, what do you mean it's not possible? But she could get us to the next step, and then the person there could get us one step further. And as we made step by step, we ended up getting where we needed to go, or as close as we could to it in the time we had. So
nice.
Great.
Nice. Lessons learned. Now, in hindsight, like a lesson or two.
In hindsight, I would have liked to practice more French before I went to France. I took multiple French classes, but there is definitely a difference. I feel that my French improved because I was immersed in the culture. But I think knowing how to communicate with people in general, and especially how to communicate with people in their language, from the perspective that they're coming from, is really important. And I wish that I had taken more time to consider how I was going to do that before I went.
Yes, I also wish I took some time to learn a little bit more French as well. I also took French as well, like through high school, and then I think like a semester in college. And I think like another lesson, just like trusting yourself and using the tools that you have. Technology is so great, and like that's definitely some of like the tools that I had. Like City Mapper was very important, and like one of the tools that I used very frequently to get around places. It like told me where to go, the best ways to do so, and like the quickest ways. But like, and then also just like having trust that like you can figure it out. Just like I think
I'm gonna build off of that, having trust in yourself, but also just being comfortable with yourself, because this was one of the first times that it was a first in a lot of ways, but it was one of the first times that I didn't have people a block away to call when we began. And then also people are busy. And so learning how to go and do the things that you want to do on your own, and not letting the fact that you don't have people with you stop you from accomplishing what you want to accomplish. So I know there were multiple days where I would go to a museum and I would sit and sketch, or I would go get coffee. And at first I was really, really nervous about it. I thought, well, I'm going on my own. There's so many things that could go wrong. And it's just weird, you know, to go sit at a coffee shop with no one across from you, is what I thought. And now I know what I've learned is it's not weird. No one cares but you. And if that's something you want to do and there's no one who will do it with you, you need to go out and you need to do it on your own. Obviously, be safe, but...
Right.
Yes.
So here's the thing for you. Let's pick a city in Southeast Asia, non-English speaking city. Pick one. Pick one, just for argument's sake. Kuala Lumpur,
Sure.
somewhere in Vietnam, somewhere in Thailand, somewhere in, right? And
Yep.
you got this offer for a 1-month internship there. Would you go?
I would do some more exploration first. I would figure out a game plan, as they say. I would definitely make sure I have somewhere to live. I'd have to tell my mom. But in the end, I think yes. I think knowing what I know from my experience this summer and seeing how it made me grow. And also, I could see the change in Sarah, from the beginning of the 2 months to the end of the 2 months. I saw a lot of growth from an outside perspective, and just seeing how that betters a person. I would say absolutely I would take the offer.
Sarah?
I would also, like Reese said, do a little bit more exploration, and like figure out what exactly it was. I'd also look to see like if I had any like other offers or something. Like if it was like a one offer, then I'd consider it a little more heavier than if I got multiple offers to go multiple different places. I will admit, and then like just like thinking that like maybe like the experience, like trying to think.
It's okay.
If
Collect your
maybe
thoughts.
like
Take your
a
time.
language barrier thing, then I just like take the time to learn the language a little bit. I think they would appreciate if I knew a little bit, even if I wasn't fluent. And
So
I honestly don't know what I'd do.
if
Just
you
like
don't
Well,
mind,
that's fair. That's fair.
I would say I wouldn't drop everything and run, but I would definitely put it in the schedule, shall we say. I wouldn't give up everything to go have this experience, but I would plan it out, and if it worked, I would be happy that it worked.
yes.
This is very, very, very interesting. So I'm thinking if we were to wrap this up with, if you'd like, unless there's something you still want to say, something. You're good?
I think we mostly covered it.
Yeah, I think we
Now
did.
let's say your town, small town, village is going to watch this podcast. So what do you want to tell them? One at a time. What do you want to tell, students like you, or any message? This is your floor. This is your 30 seconds of fame.
Sarah?
I think I'll go and then piggyback off of you again. But I would just say, like, to anybody considering like an internship or anything like that, I would say just go for it. Here at Susquehanna University, we are required to go abroad at least for 2 weeks. And what I did was Go Your Way through CIEE, and I had the most amazing experience. I'd say just go for it. CIEE was amazing. They like it was like your lifeline if you needed it. Like you're still doing the swimming yourself, but like if you needed a lifeline, they were there, which is comforting. But thankfully we didn't need the lifelines. We were able to just keep swimming, like Dory said. For like anybody considering it, like for me, when I like my thoughts doing the internship, I was like, okay, my foot has been hurting for so long, I haven't been able to do an internship. I really want to do one, and I'm running out of time to go, so I'm going to combine those experiences, and it was the best experience, one of the best experiences I have had. So just go, just take the leap, and it'll be worth it.
I a little bit want to say the same thing, but I'll spin. I'll say you have support. Even if you don't feel it, even if you don't think that you do, there are people out there who want you to succeed. So succeed. Go do the thing, take the leap, but also know that you have people ready to support you if the leap doesn't work out. And even better, you have people ready to celebrate you if it does. And I can be one of those people. So,
yes.
Nice. Reese and Sarah, thank you very, very, very much for taking the time
Yes, thank you.
on a busy day to chat with me, and hopefully more people would be encouraged and inspired to go out there outside their comfort zone and explore the world, right?
Thank you, Tony. This was a great experience. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
for having us. It was very
Pleasure.
nice to
Really a pleasure. You have courage.
Yes, have courage.